Hello everyone, my name is Sadaf. I am a content marketer of 8 years. Today we're joined by Fiza Iqbal. She is a professional makeup artist of 5 years. How are you, Fiza?
Hello, Sadaf. Thank you so much for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good and thank you for coming. So, Fiza, do
My
you
pleasure.
know what our topic of today is?
Yes, I have a slight idea, but I would like you to elaborate for me and for our listeners as well.
Okay, so the topic of today is something that a lot of people struggle with, and one of my followers actually, she commented on a previous post of mine. The post was about how your poor writing skills reflect on your confidence as a freelancer or as a writer, because she is a writer. So today I thought, why don't we invite Fiza, since she is an experienced freelancer, and talk about our struggles with confidence and what we can do to overcome them. So Fiza,
Yeah, this is a very important topic to be discussed, and I feel there isn't much there isn't much direct content available for this. Although we do find, videos on YouTube uh, of various mentors, of various, public speakers who have discussed this topic. But for somebody who is, related to your industry, any advice that comes from them, it has a different impact. So I feel that it's about time that we discussed this thing, for because we have so many newbies around us who would really benefit from this knowledge.
excellent point. I think everyone knows by now I'm big on niche, and it just affects so many aspects of your freelancing. You just cannot ignore it.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I think it's great to hear praise from someone who is a senior in your niche. And
yes,
likewise, it's devastating to hear criticism from a senior. But more on
yeah.
that later. Did you struggle with confidence as a beginner?
Oh yes, most definitely. Like any beginner, I had I struggled with the work. I struggled with work in general, I'll say, but that involved many other aspects, many other reasons. There were many other reasons behind that, actually, which of course we will, talk about in detail today. I did struggle, and I did make my way through, that thing, but it took me a lot of time and effort to do that, mainly because there was nobody around me, especially from my niche, especially from, and I did not have anybody senior from makeup artistry back then to guide me, uh, how to go about things. So yeah, I did struggle.
Okay, so as for me, I started off with a full time job and then I shifted to a part time job. So I was okay with my skills. Of course, I kept improving and I was interested to learn about a lot of related skills. But my main problem came when I started freelancing because it's a pretty big jump. So
Yeah,
that was my main struggle. I just
yeah,
because I was all alone all of a sudden and there was no one giving me work. So I had to go find work and I had to overcome my social anxiety. And I had to believe that my work was good enough for the client I was pitching to or the client who wanted a quotation from me. And I struggled putting value to my work as well. And that also reflects on your confidence, which we'll talk about some other time. But these were some of my struggles as a beginner with confidence.
Yeah, that's the thing with freelancers. That's the thing with freelancers. When we are engaged in a full-time job, we have other people doing, you know, other other things for us. There is somebody else for marketing. There is somebody else for advertisement. There is somebody else who is bringing work to you. But when you're a freelancer or when you start your own thing, uh, maybe on a small scale, maybe on a large scale, whatever that may be, when you start like that, you are all alone suddenly. Like you go from having this huge group of people around you from being all alone, like, in a matter of seconds. And then you think to yourself that how there are so many roles that I have to fit in. There are so many things that I have to do, which I did not have to back in the day when I was doing a full-time job. So yeah, it really takes courage. It really takes effort, a huge effort on your part to to fulfill those roles, and not just fulfill those roles, to fulfill them in the best possible way.
That is very true. You've been working for 5 years. That's a really long time. And you've actually worked in a lot of different niches within makeup artistry, like
Yeah.
bridal and editorial, fashion, commercial,
Yes.
etc. So I'm
Yes.
guessing you're pretty confident in all of these niches, you know? So my
Yeah.
question is, do you still struggle with confidence?
um it's a very valid question, first of all. So I feel people who are just starting out, they look at us and they might think that, oh, they have got it, they are there. There is nothing that they would like to achieve after that, after this certain position. But if I talk about it honestly, uh, 5 years back, this is the thing that I had my eyes on, right? So at this point in life, I have my eyes on something else that might happen, 5 years down the lane. So in your long term goals, you know deep down inside you that what you have acquired, what you have gained over the years, and what things you still need to work on. For me, for anybody, it can still be communication, it can still be your negotiation, it can still be how you acquire clients, it can still be how you finalize deals. But those deals might be something bigger than you are already working on. If you're working on a on small scale level right now, you might want to work in future with bigger organizations, with bigger clients, with bigger budgets. So that kind of work needs a totally different skill set. That kind of work needs a totally different level of confidence, and you know that inside you that you are not there yet, for you to be working on that specific shoot or on that specific project that other people are working on, people who have been in the industry before you. So it does take time. It eventually happens. I promise. It does happen. It eventually happens, but it does take time. And the key to nailing every opportunity is to not stop growing, to not stop improving yourself. Even if you are an expert of 5 years or 8 years or 10 years even, please do not think that you know everything. Please do not think that you know every skill that's related to your field, or everything that's connected to your work. You have learned everything, and there's nothing else that you can learn now. uh, there is a lot of things, there are a lot of things that you can still learn. There is a lot of room for improvement. There is a lot of room for growth in me, in you, in everybody around us. So I think the main key here is to never stop learning, never stop improving yourself, and be curious. Always be curious. When you see something new, be curious and how it's done. How can you learn that? How can you incorporate that in your work? That really helps, and that takes you places.
Funny you should say that because this year I actually went back to the basics. So I asked one of my friends to give me feedback on my writing and, my entire professional persona. And he was very honest. And his honesty is much appreciated because he really helped me understand what was wrong. And once I knew what was wrong, I knew
Hmm.
why I wasn't confident, why I wasn't growing like I wanted. So,
Yeah.
what I did was I literally got a grammar book and I summarized it after 8 years of content writing. And
Yeah, but you're
yeah, and that really helped me. It actually gave me a lot of confidence because
hmm.
I because now when I'm using a grammar checking tool, it's more of a formality than something I actually need. I'm confident in my grammar, even though it's not 100% perfect, but I'm confident.
Yeah, see,
And
that's the thing.
and the
That's
other
the thing. You're not.
yeah.
Yeah, I would like to add one thing here. That is actually the main thing. You are not starting from ground zero. You are starting from experience. Yeah, those 8 years of experience, they have instilled confidence in you. They have instilled skill and communication and all those good things in you, that now when somebody gives you a feedback on your professional persona or your online presence, you can actually utilize that and incorporate in your existing persona. You don't have to build everything from scratch. That's the beauty of experience.
Yes, that is true. And this brings us back to the role of other people. So we're just, demonstrating all of these points through our personal stories for you. So we hope
Yeah.
that you learn from them. And the other thing you said about, being curious. So when I started exploring social media content strategy, because it's a relatively new service for me, if I say from an official point of view, but I've been building them from a really long time, but I didn't really offer it as a separate service. And the first time I did that was a project a couple of months ago. I was like, can I do this? And a few days ago, my client gave me a review on that, and it was a really good review. And that gave me the confidence to apply for my next project, which was really important. So you see, even after 8 years, and like Fiza is telling you, after 5 years, she did struggle, but you can overcome that, and you're only going to get better with time. And I felt like my confidence was down. One thing that really helped me was to just keep working and do more work, and not
Yeah.
let other people tell me that my work wasn't good enough because you can always get better. I'm curious, how did you overcome your struggles with confidence?
So if I talk about myself and the things that I struggled with, I actually struggled with, I'll be honest, I struggled a lot with communication. I struggled a lot with talking to people. I struggled a lot with my overall presentation. I struggled a lot with saying no to people. These were the three main things that I really, really struggled with. So if I talk about communication, and by the way, these three things, every newbie, I'm sure, if not, then most of the newbies out there, they might be struggling with the same things that I struggled with, you know. So if I have something to say to them, then I would say, please learn to say no, because not knowing how to say no to people, it can be about work, it can be about their advancements, it can be about anything related to work. So if you don't learn how to say no respectfully and professionally, then it can really damage your confidence, it can really damage your reputation, it can do a lot of harm to you and to your work. So I personally struggled a lot with communication because I was never the type of person who would be, who would be out in people, who would like to be around people. I still don't. I think I'm still the same. We like to call such people introverts. I wouldn't call myself an introvert because I do like meeting people now. I do like my me time. I do like that, but the that those the ethics of communication, especially professional communication, those are totally different. When you are talking to somebody casually, when you're talking to a friend, or when you're talking to a family member, that's different, that's completely different. But when you have to talk to a prospect client, or when you have to talk to your peers or your juniors, your colleagues, that is completely different. So I really struggled with that, especially the client part, by the way. I did not know how to go up to a client and talk to them, how to seal the deal, how to negotiate. So I did not know how to go about the flow of client acquisition that has a lot to do with communicating with the client. um, I really, so yeah, what I used to do was I started Googling everything. I started watching YouTube. I started watching people talking about how to communicate, people talking about your body language, people talking about the things that you should do while you're talking to somebody, the things you should keep in mind while talking to a client. So I started listening to those things, and that really helped. Then I just pushed myself that no, if I'm being afraid of a certain situation, then I have to put myself in that, because that is how you grow. That is actually the entire thing, that the entire logic behind growth, that you put yourself in as many uncomfortable positions as you can. Only then you can make those uncomfortable situations your comfort zone. So I had to increase my comfort zone, which this is how I did. It's very scary at times. It's very scary in the beginning, I would not lie, it's very scary. But you have to push yourself, you really have to do that. Also, one thing that really helped me, and which I want my my juniors and people who are starting out, I really want them to know is, like, be the first person to say hello, to say hi. That can be, again, that you can be saying hi or hello to a client, or you can be saying that to your colleague, but be the first person, because when you do that, then you have the upper hand in that conversation. You have initiated the conversation, and you can take it in any direction you want to. But be the first person. When you do that, you do get that confidence boost.
So, Fiza, does that mean that extroversion is the way to go in professional communication, even if you're an introvert?
So it's this is a struggling phase for introverts. It's a struggling phase for people who are not people's person. again, I would say that you have to push yourself. Of course, you're not making yourself an extrovert in the process. Of course, you won't become like that. You will still be an introvert inside. But yeah, you have to push yourself to meeting people, to talking to people, even if you don't like it. I'll be honest. Even if you don't like doing that, but you have to, because that is the only way for you to overcome that part of your that part of the thing that's hindering your confidence. You really have to push yourself.
Can we say that our business persona or like a professional persona may be very different from who we are as individuals?
Yeah, I think it is true to some extent, because when we are working, when we are in our professional role, we are playing a certain we have a certain persona, but when we are out of that role, we let that go, at the end of the day. But again, yeah, we do that, people tend to do that, people tend to do that.
That's really interesting because keeping that professional image intact is also part of your work. So, what other struggles did you have and how did you overcome those?
Sorry, I would like to add one thing here. Having a professional aura or professional persona, it does not mean that you're faking it. You cannot fake it. You cannot. It's just something that you have learned. You have, adapted yourself to. You have learned over time. And when you are in your professional zone, then you take on that persona. It does not mean that you're faking it. Of course, if you're faking it, then you cannot make it. You cannot.
Yeah.
It comes naturally to it comes naturally. It is coming naturally to you. It comes naturally to you, but it's something that you are putting conscious effort into.
You mean to
If I
say it's a skill, like it's a professional skill in your professional arsenal, and you are just using it to your advantage because that's how the other person is going to connect with you.
Yes, it is. It is. I totally agree with you. It is one of your skills, because, like I said, if you're not confident at communicating, if you're not confident at talking to people, then that is something that you're lacking, right? That is part of your work, that skill. You don't have that, and you have to train your brain. You have to train yourself to be proficient at that. So yeah, you are definitely right. It is part of your skills arsenal. It is part of your professional arsenal. It is a skill that you acquire over time. Yeah.
So, did you have any other struggles with confidence?
I struggled a lot with saying no. I struggled a lot with drawing boundaries with colleagues, with peers, with people who are experienced, who are already in the industry. So, like I said before, you must know how to say no respectfully and professionally, because you saying no to somebody does not mean that they will fire you, or it does not mean that they won't give you the bonus, or it does not mean that they won't hire you for the work. It just means that you are putting a boundary respectfully, that you want others to maintain. It's really important, and it has nothing to do with you losing business, or it has nothing to do with your reputation. It has nothing to do with others talking bad about you. It does not. It if only it does, it only does help you. That's it. it helps you in building your confidence. It helps you in building boundaries. It helps you nurturing better relationships actually with everybody around you.
That was great advice, and I think it goes for your professional as well as your personal life. So I guess they're
Yeah.
not that separate after all.
No, no, no. If no, not at all. If you think about it, if we think about it, the things that we really emphasize for our professional life, they are not at all different from the things that we emphasize in our personal lives. They are pretty much the same. The concept is the same. The logic is the same behind those things. So yeah, if you are if you learn one thing in one sphere, it will actually help you become a better person in your personal life. It will even help you with your other relationships, your friendships.
Speaking of skills, did you have low confidence at any point as a beginner because you thought your skills weren't good enough, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, so when I started out, I knew for sure that I lacked at doing hair. Like I lacked at doing good hair. I did good makeup. I learned that through YouTube, through practice on friends and family. But when it came to hair, I really struggled. I did not know. I did not even know how to touch somebody else's hair without being afraid that, oh my God, I'm going to ruin their hair. So as the time passed, it was in my head that I have to make a conscious effort and learn here if I want to do better in my field. Because in Pakistan, being a makeup artist, if you don't know hair, then you don't know half of your work. There are other industries in the world where a makeup artist is a separate job. Being a makeup artist is a separate job, and being a hairstylist is a different job. But it's not like that in our industry. We must know both, and even at times we must know the styling, because not all the time we will get a stylist for ourselves. So it's three jobs, makeup, hairstyling, and the styling overall. So I struggled with hairstyling. I had to put conscious effort into learning how to hold a brush and a blow dryer in my other hand, and use them together, and how to do a good blow dry on somebody else's hair. I still cannot blow dry my own hair. I can only straighten them. But I had to put extra effort into that. The makeup, that came naturally to me. That came like I was like really good at that. I picked up things, skills, picked up tips and tricks, very quickly. But when it came to hair, I had to get help. So uh, when it comes to your skills, do not hesitate. You do not hesitate to list down the things that you struggle with, and if possible, please learn those things, those skills from a professional. uh, do not try them on your own. If you're not confident, get professional help, and I assure you that you will learn that skill way quickly.
So when we're talking about that time, thinking back to that beginner stage of freelancing,
Yeah.
don't you
Yeah.
feel like our lack of confidence made us vulnerable to people who wanted to take advantage of us? For instance, people who wanted us to work for free or work for less. So, do you think
Yeah.
that other people play a role in building or breaking our confidence, whether they are clients, peers, seniors, or even juniors? Because there's this thing people don't talk about juniors having an impact on someone who's been in the industry for a while. But if because when juniors come, they bring in a lot of fresh ideas, and they're updated with the latest, tech that you may not be very familiar with, they definitely
Yeah,
have an edge over you and you have an edge over them. So, what
yeah.
role do you think others play in building or breaking your confidence as a beginner or even as someone who spent a few years in the field?
So yeah, your question, you have put forward a very good question. People, they do have an impact over your confidence, especially when you are starting out. You expect people to be positive. You expect them to give you, good reviews, to praise your work. But when they don't do that, and when they do it in, they can do it in a harsh way. They can do it in a, in a way that doesn't sit very well with you. They can do that. So that does take a toll on your confidence. It does. So yeah, this question, it's very valid for any beginner. It happens in the beginning of anybody's career, especially freelancer. Uh, People, they don't really, they don't really own the title that they have put under their name, because somewhere in themselves, they know, they feel that they might not be, they might not be ready for for that title, for calling them like I myself. I when I started out, I wasn't confident enough to call myself a professional makeup artist, because deep down inside I was like, no, I don't know this thing, I don't know that thing, I lack here, I lack there. And if I'm being honest, then people, they can actually sense that, especially clients, they can, when they are, because every business talk, every deal, it starts with you talking to the client, the client talking to you. So whenever that happens, there will be some, exchange of conversation, exchange of things that gives them the idea that, this person, she or he, they're new. And if you're not confident enough, which we both were at one point in our career, if you're not confident enough in dealing with them, then they can definitely take advantage of you. They won't pay you fairly. They will try to cut corners. They will try to save their budget wherever they can. And even if you quote them the price that you want to charge, they may say that, oh, you're so expensive, why are you charging that much, this is not the usual rate in the industry. And you might, think for a second that, oh, I might be charging a lot. And you might then say, okay, you might then say that I can reduce it for you, which is not a good idea. You should not do that. But you can lose confidence, and people will know that, you're not confident enough in your pricing, you're not confident enough in your skills. As far as your peers, your friends, your family is concerned, I feel anything that is new is doesn't really sit well with people who are really close to you. They may say, you're not really good at it, why are you doing this, you're just wasting your time, why did you study that, why are you doing this, why did you waste your time in college and now you're pursuing something else, how is your work even related, how are you going to utilize your degree, all that stuff. And even that, even that can shake you up, even that can make you second guess your choices. So uh, but but when we start something, anybody who is passionate about one thing in their life, they know it, that uh, they have to stand their ground. They just cannot listen to others. They just cannot change their direction and decisions just because somebody else doesn't feel the way they do, or somebody else is not confident enough, about your work like you are. So that's one thing, but it's important that we do not lose faith. We do not lose the ground. We stand, we stand firm, and we just continue working. And everybody grows. Everybody grows. you eventually grow out of that phase. You eventually gain confidence. You eventually reach the place that you once thought that you could never. Everybody does that. So yeah, it's important. It's important that you do not listen. You do not listen to these these voices around you.
That's great advice, actually. And I think it works for any field.
Yeah, it does. It does. That's why I've not. That is why I have not specified it for me or for you. It's for everybody. Anybody who is starting out as a freelancer or even as a small business. Anybody who starts by even hiring one person. That's their team. By starts by hiring maybe two people. That's their team. So we have heard any beginner will listen to this, the criticism, the negative comments, the negative the vibes from other people. But yeah, it's important that you do not let that get to your head.
That is very true. I think that this is like words like these should be written as affirmations in
Yeah,
your on your work desk or something.
yeah, definitely, definitely.
So Fiza,
Yeah.
let's wrap this up. I would like you to give us your top 3 tips for beginners who are struggling with freelancing.
My first tip would be to keep learning. Keep learning. Be curious. Keep learning. You have a skill, but you can definitely make it better. You might be doing better than many, but you won't be doing, you might not be doing that great. There are other people out there who might be doing much better than you. So keep growing, keep improving your skills. My second tip would be, I said this before as well. Be the first person who says hi. Be the person who initiates conversation. Actually, be that person. Be there for people. Talk to them. Talk to them. It solves a lot of problems. My third tip would be to stick to your pricing. Please do not change your prices for anybody, no matter how many times they tell you that uh, you're too expensive, or you do not suit our budget. That's completely fine. Stick to your pricing.
So I can assume you're not offering me a discount anytime soon.
No, not at all.
That's so sad. My best friend of 10 years is not offering me a friends and family discount. But
Why do
you
you
heard
want,
that.
why do you need a discount? You can give me your face and we can create content, and it's a win-win for everybody.
You see, people, there are ways to negotiate for your own benefit.
See,
But
see, this is how you collaborate. This is how you make things work in your favor. Not everything has to be about money. Just get things out of that project. Get things out of that work. You know.
so, folks, today you learned how to be confident and sneaky with me and Fiza. Thank you so much for coming, Fiza.
Thank you so
Um,
much for Thank you so much for having me. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that whoever is listening to this, whoever is listening to our conversation, it benefits them, and I hope they incorporate our tips into their work life. And whatever questions they have, they can definitely send us. They can send you. They can comment down here somewhere.
Please
uh,
slide into my DMs. I do not mind. But don't
yeah,
say
she
hello,
doesn't.
dear. I don't respond to hello, dear.
Yeah, she doesn't like that. You can slide into her DMs,
No
but
one
don't
likes
say hi.
that. Who likes that?
Nobody likes that. So yeah, I hope it was really helpful. I hope my tips were helpful for people, for anybody who is listening.
Thank you so much to the follower who asked me to talk about confidence because she's struggling with confidence as a freelancer because she's a beginner. And I hope this helped everyone at any stage of their career. So thank
Yeah.
you so much for your great tips, Fiza. And today you learned how to be confident, curious, and to keep growing and keep learning. So you can always get better at what you do and give back to the community that has helped you stand on your feet and fulfill your dreams. So thank you so much for watching and leave us your feedback. What can we improve? What would you like us to talk about?
We'll see
We'll
you
see you
next
next
time.
time. Bye.
I think we are never going to make it together, but that's okay. That's okay. Bye bye.